Thing is, Tom, we're just walking around the woods and it's relatively comfortable. We're not having too much of a problem. We're not thinking about doing an advanced contact in this, you know, and you're constantly going and getting up again, and then it starts to get tiring.
Welcome back to AATV. I'm your host Tom Anvil Hibberd, and I'm with my oppo Gareth Gadge Harvey today.
Hello.
There will be some wind noise, we can't really escape that. You just have to put up with it. Now, we're starting a new series. We don't know what format it's going to take. We're going to give it a go, called Webbing Walks. We're going to take webbing or LBE or low bearing equipment.
Fighting kit, really.
Fighting kit from the last 50 years, ultra modern, completely ancient, and we're going to go for a wander around in it, loaded up like it would be for an airsoft game, or in Gadge's case, as it would have been in the 1980s.
Yeah, I mean,
a
really,
real soldier.
Let's see what the difference is.
So let's show what we're using. Today we're going with 58 pattern webbing, as used by the British Army from
until 1990.
Okay. I've got mine loaded up for a effectively 24-hour milsim game. So if I'm leaving the fob or leaving the base and I'm not going back for resupply, I've got pretty much everything I need in here for 12-24 hours for airsoft. And what about you, Gadge?
Right, Tom, so I've gone the other way around actually. I've gone for replicating what's called complete equipment fighting order. So this is everything you need to take on an assault, patrol, survive for about 48 hours. So unlike your airsoft loadout, I'd be normally carrying blank or inert ammo for living history, but I fill these with concrete. Okay. So there's about 5 kg of concrete in both of those. Yeah. Like yourself, I'm carrying water. I'm carrying a proper resi and all the decontamination kit. Yeah. I'm carrying an NBC suit, 24-hour rations, washing and shaving kit, and a poncho at the bottom, and a pickaxe.
So we're not carrying knives or bayonets or anything like that. Although I've got airsoft kit, I don't have any magazines or blank firing grenades or blanks or anything like that. I've loaded up with water as ballast and a load of power banks and stuff for the camera in my other ammo pouch to simulate the weight. Okay guys, shall we
cool. So just Tom, very quickly, my kit's rocking about 16 kilograms there.
Mine's about 12.
Right, so either way it's not a light load to go for, so we might only manage 100 metres before we have to stop for a cuppa.
We'll see how we go. We might go for a couple of miles. There's a few with little loop down by the canal. It's a really nice day. Right guys, let's moan and groan like old Ben. Let's point out we're also mid-40s and not exactly the fittest blokes in the world, right?
Especially after a year of lockdown.
Okay, so there's a little pouch on the side of a resi pouch. Oh, there's a doggo. Hello, doggo. What's that for?
That is for the DKP kit, which is decontamination kit. So when you get hit by a chemical agent, hello dog, you pull one of these out, rip it out from its layer. I'm not going to do that because these are getting scarcer. And you fold it over your hand.
Actually quite hard to find now.
Yeah, and then basically what you do, you blot at the stain, you bang it to get a lot of dust, and you rub, and it basically soaks up things like thickened blood agent, nasty chemical stuff that will just eat through your suit or eat through your uniform normally. It's essentially full as earth. Okay. It's talcum powder by any other name, or cat litter stuff really. But yeah, you carry several of those. You'd also in there, and I haven't got one with mine, have some chemical detection paper, which is a sticky backed sort of like greaseproof paper that turns either one colour for one version, or I think Section Commanders had a 3-colour version, and if there's droplets of chemical agent in the air, it goes blue or green or whatever to let you know how long you've got to live and when you're going to die.
Okay, don't you just put your fags in it though?
Well, I don't smoke, Tom.
Buffy hat. Buffy hat from Ben and Louis Orford. Buffy actually makes the hats, but they sell them. Fantastic bushcrafter, makes knives and bits and bobs, and they do custom leather work and all sorts of stuff.
Might stick my hat on in a minute, it's gone.
Yeah, really good hat. So in Simon, Bloke in the Wood. So if you're into this sort of walking and talking and being outdoors stuff, I recommend Simon Bloke in the Wood YouTube channel. Great guy. Lives in Norfolk. That's some fantastic kind of just walking around and living in the woods and doing stuff.
Yeah, and cooking outdoors.
But not in a survivalist way, just as a kind of, you know, enthusiast bushcrafter. So really quite nice. No swimming, Gadge.
No, thing is, Tom, we're just walking around the woods and it's relatively comfortable. We're not having too much of a problem. We're not thinking about doing an advanced contact in this, you know, and you constantly going and getting up again, and then it starts to get tiring.
Highly essential. What were they?
Rolo.
Chocolate covered caramels, you
Yeah,
mean?
chocolate covered caramel. Not trademarked at all. It's interesting though, because I don't know if they just get cheap contracts, but the army seem to fluctuate from having things that you know, like Yorkie bars and Rolos and Spangles for the older people amongst you, and then they'll have this weird ass chocolate from like Duncan's or something that you've never seen before in your life.
Duncan's went out of business after they lost the contract.
Well, there you go. You know, and again, like, you know, you get your energy drink is Lucasade Sport these days in the ration packs, and back in for the 80s for this stuff we got dextrose tablets, which I've got in my pocket here, because as we said, you can't actually fit all the ration pack in a kidney pouch, so all the snacks, the sundries, the chewing gum, the Rolos, the chocolate covered caramels, they're all in my pockets, so I'm hoping I don't get too warm walking along, otherwise I'm going to have like melty dextrose chocolate spangle. Yeah, so in my smock I've got snacks, bits and bobs in my smock as well. The pockets are bulging, as well as like actual like war-y stuff, like a game of whistle and everything else. Yeah. Right, Gadge, we've both got resi bags on, but you had a little anecdote about that. Yeah, so essentially most people playing Cold War Airsoft, and most reenactors as well, put the respirator haversack on the belt, and that's to stop it bouncing around quite so much when you're running and you're moving. But the NBC school, they actually don't teach that. They prefer you to have it on the shoulder strap, going across the waist and held tight under the belt, and that's because it should never be more than about 3 meters away from you. Right. And there will be times when your weapons on unit transport, but the haversack should always be with you, because if you can't find your respirator in 9 seconds, then it's good night Vienna. Right, Tom, so I think we've probably walked about maybe a mile, if that.
Yeah, something like that.
And I don't know about you, but I could do with a water break. Yeah. Now, as we mentioned before, because we've got 44 pattern water bottle carriers, it is actually possible to get to them with one hand. Putting it back again, but what I have done is taken, and I can get the damn thing out. So, we'll get there eventually. 44 pattern mug. So, a lot of guys, you get mess tins, you get 2 of them. Yeah. They're great, but they tend to lose heat. I can cook and drink in that. Yeah. So why carry 2 metal pots? And what I don't want to do really is get my webbing wet. So we were talking about packing this earlier, and I'm just going to take this off to show people. It has these loop tabs that can be either fastened in a kind of fairly convenient way like that, or you can do a more permanent fasten by pulling that through, and it kind of almost locks in.
Yeah.
I've never needed to use that, to be honest, in the limited use I've had with these. Now these, quite often they fray on older ones, and if this stuff gets wet, that expands quite a bit. Weirdly, some of your webbing will shrink, make it impossible to get a water bottle pouch out, and some of it expands, making it harder to get these in and out. So not only is it a pain in the bum to use when it gets wet, it also adds a hell of a lot to the weight. So with these are really tight, and as I say, we've got this pickaxe and helve. Getting that on yesterday took a lot of swearing. It's really tight, that doesn't want to go at all. Refasten this with the pickaxe head in it, and I'm going to let that move around independently. Now, I might mean that that poncho roll slaps on my backside a bit more, but I can live with that if it's going to give me more freedom of movement around my shoulder blades.
Yeah.
Ration pack in there in a plastic tub. It's quite a common fix at the time.
All right, have you got? Okay, you see.
I haven't got an ice cream tub. I've got a similar Tupperware type tub. Yeah. And again, what I've tried to do, I've cherry picked what I wanted. So we've got the chicken curry and the rice, and these are modern equivalents. We'll show you a picture of how we mock one of these up. There's an OXO cube in there, this chewing gum, there's oatmeal block, there's some soups. I've left the bacon grill at home and the ham spread because I'd leave them in my burger. I don't really like those. I'm not going to eat them in a hurry. But what I do want right now is I want a snack.
So that box, Gadge, what a lot of people used to do, I've read, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they used to use like 2 litre ice cream tubs or margarine tubs, which are a bit more fragile, certainly in the cold.
I mean, you can use mess tins, you know, if you want. They're to keep everything in one place.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to have all my contents of my pack sloshing around without something holding it together.
We're not pretending to be experts, so if you've got any insights or knowledge or tips setting our webbing up, please let us know. We're not pretending to be...
No, exactly. I mean, I used PLC in the reserves for a few years. I've used 58 pattern as a cadet and on airsoft events, but I've never worn this in a threatening environment in any way. You know, I'm only going off what I've been told by older soldiers, reading books. Really want to value your experience if you get anything to add to it.
Too much packaging on everything.
Right, see if we can get this in without swearing now. Okay, so had a quick snack break and we've got some water down our necks, and going on some advice from an old soldier friend of mine who said you don't want to have that pick helve like that, it'll make it really hard to move. I thought I'd try it as I had it first and then follow his advice, and he's right. He's worn it on the sharp end of things, he's worn it to war, and he's right. Taking it away now so it's not secured on the poncho roll, I've got so much more flexibility to move. Like when I dropped down to the crawl earlier to see how hard that'd be, very hard to crawl with it like that. Not going to do it again, but I can imagine it already, it'll be easier to do that.
How are you feeling so far, Gadge?
Pretty good actually. I mean, the weight distribution, as we said, is really good. So I'm carrying 16 kilograms. It doesn't feel like it. My plate carry in my ultra modern kit is probably around about 8 or 9 kilograms. Feels a lot heavier. All right, I mean, because the plate carry is all on those shoulders. The belt takes, whoa, it's a bit icy. The belt takes a lot of the weight, and I think that pickaxe helve doesn't hurt either in spreading the weight out a bit.
This is a cool looking bridge, Gadge.
Funny enough, that bridge has been the backdrop for a commando raid at some point, only in my imagination. And also, when I used to work for the printed airsoft media, because we've got really tolerant police around here, quite often if I rang them up and said, look, I want to do a World War II photo shoot, there'll be 2 guys dressed as commandos, going to have machine guns this time, they go, yeah, fine. Not a lot of police will let you do that.
So this is the Nottingham Canal. This goes on to the boots. Actually, it skirts the boots. Everything you see here, on the other side of the canal, is the boots plant in Nottingham.
Which is like a mini estate of its own, isn't it? It's absolutely vast.
Yeah. This is quite a cool little bridge.
Also, one of the few bits of Nottingham to get blitzed, I believe.
I imagine so.
I think that one of the raids was against the boots factory. I think they were making war-dependent chemicals back then.
And there was also, in Nottingham as well, there was also the Royal Ordnance plant, which is no longer there.
Oh, yeah.
So that was one of the areas targeted. But obviously, as an industrial area, I imagine the boots area looked quite like an industrial area from. And
I imagine in the 1940s, the cigarette factory, the John Player's one, was probably quite significant as well, since everybody smoked.
Well, we've done 2.5, 3 miles today.
But we're not running, are we? And we're not stooped. We're not patrolling. We're not crouching. We're just ambling.
I'm going to point it out again, though. We are both in our mid-40s
and overweight. I was 16 stone when I weighed myself the other day. I'm normally 13 and a half.
Thought I'd come back for a bit, and it's a bit of lockdown weight. But no, it's been a good day out, Gadge.
Yeah. Need the exercise. Good to give the kit a test as well.
So if you guys like what we're doing with these, we'll carry on doing them. Both of us have got an absolute ton of stuff to get to work our way through. So
I'd like to compare World War II webbing with modern webbing, I think, Tom, at some point.
Yeah, okay. So you got 37, we've both got PLCE, we've both got a plethora of chest rigs, we've got South African kit, so we can carry on doing all these things and talking about them as we walk around.
We've even got 2 sets of West German webbing somewhere.
No thanks, Gadge, you can wear that.
The thing is, Tom, could you run up one of these walls, jump up, clamber over this, wearing all this stuff, because some bugger had to in basic training.
I think the reality is, Gadge, I couldn't do that without the webbing on, mate. Gadge, mate, I found a ladder. So guys, what do you think?
Well, to be honest, Tom, it wasn't as hard as I thought it'd be. Okay, we haven't done an epic yomp, it hasn't been like the South Atlantic, but we've done maybe 3 or 4 miles with 12 to 16 kg of kit on. And I'm a little bit out of breath because I'd be out of breath if I wasn't wearing webbing. So to be honest, thumbs up, it does the job. It's not uncomfortable, it's cheap, and I've worn worse.
Oh, yeah, this is from my perspective, I'm quite surprised actually how comfortable I am. Again, it's only been 3-4 miles, but I actually find it quite handy to wear. I might split the kidney pouches up into water bottle pouches.
Yeah, me too.
But I want to play a game, just a skirmish day with it, see what it's like, eat lunch out of it, and do everything else out of it.
Yeah, I think I'd like to modernise it as well. So at the moment I'm carrying like a hexamine stove, solid fuel tablets. I want to put a jet boil in a water bottle pouch because there's reenacting and there's living history, and there's actually being able to eat your dinner in time at an airsoft game.
Yeah, I've got a jet boil in mine and another water bottle. But no, I think for me, 58 pattern is a thumbs up, and we'll see how it compares to more modern stuff next time. So I'd like to thank Gadge for joining me on Webbing Walk. Thanks, Gadge.
Pleasure, never a chore.
And if you want to help support the channel, you can join our Patreon. If you'd like to make a one-off contribution, why not pick up one of our t-shirts from our Teespring store. Again, there's a link in the description. Most importantly, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.